An explosive official announcement appeared on my feed. I gritted my teeth and read it over and over again. Qing. You, my ex-boyfriend in name only. We hadn't told anyone we'd broken up. Everyone in our circle knew Xiao and I couldn't stand each other. I hated her fake act, and she was jealous that I was more doted on than she was. 10 years ago, her mother brought her into the Xia family. She changed her name from Xiao to Xiao and officially became a Xia. The Xias and my family, the Wens, were neighbors. She always liked to trail after her little uncle and his group of friends. She'd flaunt it in my face all day, saying that even though she didn't have a brother to love her, she had her little uncle to dote on her. Everyone felt sorry for her because she had no friends, so they were a little kinder to her. My mother always taught me that a girl needs to be self-reliant. Every time I saw her putting on that helpless act, asking people to open her water bottles, get her a chair, or carry her things, I'd march my little short legs through the crowd and earnestly tell her, that's not right. Girls need to be self-reliant. You're too weak, you need to exercise. Xiao would say in this incredibly wrong tone, maybe it's because I don't know you guys that well. You probably don't see me as a friend. In my little kid brain, I couldn't find the words to argue back. I just stood there, spinning in anxious circles. Later, in middle school, at that clueless age, who could tell the difference between feelings? The slightest bit of a good impression felt like a crush. My deskmate was a boy, and I was pretty fierce. Every time she saw him buying me breakfast or carrying my backpack, she'd get so jealous. When I wasn't around, she'd secretly try to sweet-talk him and badmouth me. One time, I asked my deskmate to grab me a milk tea. She came running up to me again, all fake concern. Wen Qing, can't you do things for yourself? Why are you making your deskmate run your errands? I raised an eyebrow. None of your damn business. Tears welled up in her eyes. You're so mean. No one will ever want to be your friend. I looked at her like she was an idiot. Aren't I just learning from you? Except I'm not like you. I have friends. A lot of them. She didn't know that I always paid my deskmate an errand fee because his family wasn't well off. Xiao stormed off in a huff and went home to tattle on me. Dad chased me around the yard and gave me a harsh spanking. Through high school, college, and right up to today, we've never been able to stand the sight of each other. Now, seeing that official announcement from Qingyu, I felt like I was going to fall apart. Xiao, are you that desperate for a man? He and I haven't even officially broken up, and you're already making an announcement. Are you trying to piss me off? On the other end of the line, Xiao's voice dripped with mockery. Wen Qing, brother Qingyu likes me. What can I do about it? To be honest, we've been together for 6 months. It's time for you to back off. Hearing that, I completely lost it. I couldn't believe they'd been hooking up behind my back for so long. I seethed, Xiao, you just wait. Qingyu was always so good to me. I can't believe he was such a huge scumbag behind the scenes. And to think I actually felt a little guilty about him. I slammed the phone down in a rage. I snatched a stuffed doll and stomped on it. Scumbag and a homewrecker, what's there to show off about? It's just a man. You seduce my ex-boyfriend, I'll go after your little uncle. You'll still be a step below me. I tried to console myself for a moment. Then, suddenly, I grabbed my phone and hurled it at the doorframe. Arg, I'm so pissed. In the middle of the night, I opened Weibo and left a storm of angry comments under their posts. Staring at my masterpiece, I clutched my stomach and started laughing. That's what you get for playing the innocent victim. I'll expose your entire dating history, ha ha ha. The badminton court. My bestie, Songji, and I were warming up. We hadn't played in ages, and it didn't take long before we were both drenched in sweat. An idle glance over my shoulder, and I caught a glimpse of a familiar figure. The shuttlecock in my hand, unsurprisingly, went flying completely off course. Songji picked it up and walked over. She called my name a few times, but I didn't answer. She sighed and waved a hand in front of my face. Qing, can you please focus? We're playing a game here. Songji followed my gaze. Why are you getting all starry-eyed now? Your eyes are practically glued to him. I snapped out of it and awkwardly snatched the shuttlecock from her hand. Was it that obvious? I swear I only glanced for a second. Song Ji chuckled, whispering in my ear, "Isn't that Xiaoyao's little uncle? Are you really going to go after him?" I clicked my tongue and shot a fierce glare at Xiaoyao in the rest area. Even though they aren't related by blood, Xiaoyao is part of the Xia family now, after all. Xiaoyao is bound to be protective of his own. A corner of my mouth lifted into a smirk. I raised an eyebrow at Song Ji. "You underestimate me. I don't care if he's some kind of saint, he'll fall for me all the same." Song Ji looked at Xiaoyao in the distance and shook her head. "Qing, I'm rooting for you, but if it doesn't work, we pull out. Don't get yourself in too deep. I hear he's the scheming type. You don't want to fail at seducing him only to get played yourself and be eaten alive." At home, I often hear my parents discussing how formidable Xiaoyao's methods are now. He seems different from the person I remember. I haven't seen him since he went abroad 8 years ago. It's been so long that I still thought of him as the big kid from our youth. But my gut tells me he really isn't that person anymore. I'm not even sure if I can actually pull this off. When I heard what Song Ji said, I immediately shook my head. No way. He used to protect Xiaoyao all the time, and I beat him so bad he was scared to leave the house. He's just stronger than me now, that's all. Besides, I'm not stupid. Why would I try to solve this with brute force? I grinned mischievously. I plan to use my feminine wiles. And if that's not enough, well, I'm willing to make a little bodily sacrifice. Song Ji shook her head, worried. You're that confident? Of course. Come on, let's go say hi. Song Ji and I slowly walked over to the lounge area. Seeing Xiaoyao, I feigned surprise. Hey, Xiaoyao. What a coincidence. You're here to play, too? Song Ji turned her head away, unable to watch. Xiaoyao heard the familiar voice and looked up at me. HM? Xiao Qing. It is a coincidence. Want to play together? I nodded eagerly. That was exactly what I was waiting for. A smile spread across my face, only to fall an instant later. But I don't know how to play. What should I do? Xiaoyao's brow twitched. Well then, how about I teach you? Really? You would? That's great. Thank you, Xiaoyao. I didn't expect you to have gotten so nice. Hearing my compliment, the friends around Xiaoyao couldn't help but offer awkward yet polite smiles. Hey there, pretty lady. Once you learn, you can play with us, okay? I smiled and nodded, then turned to shoot Song Ji a triumphant look. Song Ji frowned, reluctantly catching my gaze. My little exchange didn't escape Xiaoyao's notice. He'd seen the whole thing without a sound, and the corner of his mouth curved up. When I turned back to look at him, his expression was back to normal. A moment later, Xiaoyao demonstrated. He got into position, a ball in one hand and a racket in the other. He tossed the ball into the air and served it in a flash. After just a few volleys, his opponent couldn't keep up and conceded. He shot me a devilishly charming smile. Get it? Of course I knew how to do something so simple, I just hadn't expected him to be that good. That was too fast. I couldn't follow. Xiaoyao said slowly, fast? I quickly blinked my big, innocent eyes. Then how about I give you some hands-on instruction? I nodded quickly. That was exactly what I was hoping for. Xiaoyao stood behind me, his large hand reaching around to cover mine. Our summer clothes were thin, and I could clearly feel his heartbeat. His scorching body heat sent a jolt through me, and my face instantly flushed crimson. The scent of tobacco from his body filled my senses. Unable to resist the temptation, I lost focus. Xiaoyao noticed I was distracted and whispered in my ear, "Wen Qing, watch the ball." His breath ghosted across my neck, and I felt a wave of heat wash over me. The lesson was torture. As soon as it was over, I wanted to grab Song Ji and run. Even though we grew up together, we hadn't seen each other in years. Being held by him so suddenly like that, I found myself breathing cautiously. My heart actually skipped a beat. Xiaoyao seemed to have read my mind. He stopped me. It's getting late. Let me treat you two to dinner. Then we can head back together? I waved my hand, refusing. In this situation, how could I possibly eat? No thanks. My family's driver is waiting in the parking lot. That guy Xiaojue actually put on a wronged expression and looked at me. I was so mad I wanted to hit him. Why was he just like Xiaoyao, always putting on an act? We haven't seen each other in a long time, right? Shouldn't we grab a meal and catch up? Or do you think our relationship doesn't warrant it? If I said it wasn't necessary, he'd go tattle on me, and I'd probably get beaten to death. I slumped my shoulders in defeat and drew out my words. It's necessary, it's necessary. We should get a meal. I chose a spicy hot pot place because I knew he couldn't handle spicy food. I did it on purpose. Obviously, he only had a few bites. I asked him provocatively, "Is it good?" His brow was deeply furrowed, but he still forced himself to agree with me. Delicious. Just watching him was satisfying. Being in a good mood, I naturally had a few drinks. An hour later, my bestie and I had finished our pleasant dinner. As I was leaving, I glanced at the drinks we'd had. My tolerance for alcohol is usually pretty good. I didn't expect this stuff to have such a kick. The moment I stood up, my head started to feel fuzzy. I held onto the table for a minute, but my head was still spinning. When Xiaojue saw this, he swept me up into his arms. The driver was waiting at the entrance. When he saw us come out, Songji leaned out the car window. "Mr. Xia, thank you for dinner. We'll be sure to treat you next time. You can give Qing to me now." As she spoke, Songji pushed open the door to pull me in. But to my surprise, Xiaojue just kept holding me, refusing to let go. "You can't hold her." Songji was put in a difficult spot. "Mr. Xia, what do you mean by this? You're not asking us to treat you back right now, are you? We're already full. I'm going her way. I'll take her home." "Just taking her home?" Xiaojue didn't answer. "I knew it. You've been pretending all along." Xiaojue looked puzzled. What have I been pretending?" Songji held on to my hand and wouldn't let go. Xiaojue clearly didn't want to argue with a drunk person. "I hear your father has been trying to partner with the Xia Corporation? Pulling a lot of strings." Songji was dumbfounded. She couldn't believe Xiaojue was actually threatening her. Her father had indeed been trying to make a connection, but he'd never succeeded. "Don't worry. I won't touch her without her consent." Songji's hand slipped away. Xiaojue turned and carried me into another car. By the time Songji snapped out of it, she could only watch helplessly as I was carried away. "Hey! Put Qing down. He really is just like the rumors say, devious." And Qing didn't believe it. "Looks like she's going to fall for his trap this time." Xiaojue didn't take me home. Instead, he brought me to his place, Chongqing residence. The next day, I didn't stir until the sun was shining on my face, lazily prying my eyes open. I stretched out of habit, then squinted them shut again as my hand fumbled for my phone. A glance at the screen told me it was only 9 a.m. I rubbed my temples, which were still throbbing. The booze definitely hadn't worn off completely. I drifted off for another moment, then reached out. Empty space. My eyes snapped open in confusion as I looked for my favorite oversized stuffed doll, but the sight before me left me stunned. An unfamiliar room, an unfamiliar scent. I shot bolt upright in bed. Grabbing my phone, I unlocked it to a flood of messages from Songji. "Qing, did you make it home?" He threatened me. I couldn't stop him. "He carried you off. It's all an act. Don't let him eat you alive." "What the? I wasn't kidnapped by some creep. This is Xiaojue's place?" "It doesn't look like it." My head was spinning. Only one night had passed, how was I so out of it? And Songji said Xiaojue threatened her? What was that about? I was blackout drunk last night. Did something happen that I don't remember? Why can't I recall a single thing? A knock sounded at the door. Xiaojue's low, husky voice came from the other side. "Xiao Qing, are you awake?" "I'm coming in." I frantically set my phone aside, pretending I had just woken up. He pushed the door open, holding a tray with a bowl of congee and a small side dish. He was in a set of casual loungewear, looking bright and handsome. I'd never seen him like this before. Lately, I'd only seen him on TV, where he was always dressed to the nines in a suit. I pursed my lips, sneaking a peek at him. He actually looked kind of innocent. Maybe Songji had it backwards. Ugh, now I almost feel bad about pouncing on him. Xiejua helped me sit up, then brought a spoonful of the congee to his lips and blew on it. Staring at his mouth, I had the sudden urge to kiss him. Suppressing the urge, I took the first bite. Did you sleep okay last night? Yeah, fine. It's just, I'm not used to strange places. I saw Xiejua's hand, raised to feed me, pause in midair. Then he shoved the bowl directly into my hands. Seeing his expression suddenly darken, I had a bad feeling. I kept my head down, focusing on the congee, not daring to look at him. So, he said, shouldn't we talk about last night? Xiejua pulled out his phone and played a recording. It was a woman's voice. My heart skipped a beat. Because I realized that the sultry-sounding voice was probably mine. Xiejua, be my boyfriend. Xiao Qing, what are you saying? I want you, Xiejua, to be my boyfriend. Xiao Qing, you're drunk. Let's talk about this tomorrow. No. I want an answer now. You're drunk. I'm afraid you'll regret this in the morning. I won't. I'll never regret it. So, are you in or not? Just one word. If you don't agree, I'll bite you. Hiss. Ow. Stop biting. Those little fangs of yours. Then say yes or no. Hurry up. Okay, okay. I agree. Just stop biting, you're leaving marks. The recording ended there. So, my girlfriend, he said, don't you have something to say? I couldn't believe a sound like that could come out of me. No, wait, that wasn't the point. The point was that he, Xiejua, was posturing like he expected me to take responsibility for this. I remembered Songji's texts, it's all an act. He threatened me. But looking at his innocent face, my heart still sided with Xiejua. I suddenly realized, Xiejua was way too easy to win over. It only took a few sentences to get him. I guess I'm just that charming. Wait, isn't this a little too fast? I'm not ready for this. He must have seen me hesitate. He took my hand. You're not going to just love me and leave me, are you? What was with that choice of words? It made it sound like I'd already had my way with him. I met his gaze and tried to pull my hand back, but it took some effort. I picked up my bowl and took another spoonful. I was drunk last night, I said. It was all just nonsense. You can't take it seriously. He wouldn't let it go. But you said you'd never regret it. That was just the booze talking. Xiejua's voice turned to ice. Say that again. A shiver went through me, and my hands started to tremble. Realizing this was going south fast, I abandoned the congee and made a run for it. You know what, I just remembered I have somewhere to be. I'm gonna go, I said, scrambling downstairs and heading for the door. I fumbled with my phone, trying to find Songji's contact to have her come get me. But the more I panicked, the more flustered I got, and I couldn't find her chat for the life of me. I was only a few steps from the front door when a figure shot out and yanked me back. Ow. That hurts. Xiejua slammed me against the wall in the entryway, his hand clamping down on my waist as he stared straight through me. I stared back in terror. I was so scared. Right then, I truly believed Xiejua had threatened Songji. He really was just as the rumors described him, dark, manipulative, and difficult to handle. My head was spinning, my hands pressed against Xiejua's chest. Don't be rash. I know you're in a hurry, but please, let's just talk. Can we not get physical? I tried to shift, but he held my waist, and the next second, his grip tightened. As I watched in horror, he lowered his head to my ear and gently bit my earlobe. You messed with me and think you can just run away? Not a chance. Feeling the wetness on my ear, I gasped, don't. He moved down from my earlobe, lingering on my neck. I felt a slight sting and cried out, ow. A hickey was formed, but he wasn't satisfied. He gently nibbled on my chin, my lips. My body grew weaker and weaker. I clung to his neck, afraid to let go. I was just wondering how to seduce you, and you delivered yourself right to my door. His words left me completely confused. I'd never seen him so out of control. What do you mean? Exactly what you think I mean. While I was dazed, Xiaoxue lifted my chin and covered my mouth with his. His kisses grew more frantic, as if he wanted to devour me whole. I struggled desperately and bit down hard. He licked his cut lip with the tip of his tongue. He looked at me in disbelief. You really had the heart to bite me. I covered my mouth. How could you do that? He pulled me closer, his voice low and raspy. Do what? That. What you just did. You're Xiaoyao's uncle. He wrapped an arm around my waist, a smile playing on his lips. What? So if I wasn't her uncle, I could kiss you? I pouted and turned my head away. Yes. Don't you know we're rivals? The moment I finished, he turned my face back toward him. I know. Didn't I already get revenge for you? I don't care, you can't. MMPH. A shiver ran through me, and I almost lost myself. Don't think this means I'll agree to, you. MMPH. I angrily slapped his shoulder. He wouldn't even let me speak. Well, if he wouldn't let me, I was going to say it anyway. If you do this again, I'll pour water on your bed while you're sleeping. MMPH. His kiss made my body go limp again. After the kiss, I'd start threatening him again, and he'd just continue. After this happened a few times, I finally shut up. I'd already chickened out and begged for mercy. I stumbled out of Xiaoxue's house. Luckily, Songji was there to pick me up. It's over, it's all over. He turned the tables and seduced me. I don't actually have feelings for him, do I? Gigi, tell me this is just my imagination. Songji braked so hard I slammed my head. Hiss. Ouch. I shot her a dirty look and checked my forehead in the mirror. Looks to me like he kissed you, stupid. TSK, 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 look at the hickeys on your neck. Is he part dog or something? I looked up and saw there were quite a few. I cleared my throat. You know, Xiaoxue is actually pretty handsome. I guess I never looked closely before. Songji was exasperated. Qing, have you not seen enough men? Don't worry, your girl has got you covered. I've never been in a relationship, never even held a guy's hand. My ex-boyfriend was just a guy I hired to do my homework for me so I could get out of it. I only said he was my boyfriend so no one would find out. When we broke up, he threw his pride away and cried a river. I felt sorry for him, so I agreed not to announce it. I never expected I was the naive little rabbit who actually believed him. Ugh, I'm such a newbie when it comes to relationships. All I can do now is take my best friend's advice. After all, she's the one with all the experience. First, we'll get dinner, then we'll get dressed up. Tonight, I'm taking you to Charm Bar to show you what real handsome men look like. Okay. My Gigi is the best to me. After leaving the restaurant, we found a women's clothing store. I picked out a low-cut, red slip dress and got my hair styled in big waves. The whole look was alluring and gorgeous. Songji put together an edgy outfit and tied her hair in a top knot. She said it would attract scumbags, which would help me screen them out. The moment we walked into the bar, someone whistled at us. Qing, look. This place has the most handsome guys, and the male models are even hotter. So the men Songji was talking about were male models. My expression turned a little awkward. I don't know. If my dad found out, he'd kill me. Don't worry, this bar is crazy expensive. Normal people don't come here, so you won't run into anyone you know. Curious, I looked over the colorful array of drinks in front of me. My bestie called over a group of male models, saying they were here to chat with me. Qing, don't be so stiff. It's just a chat. Get to know some people. You might find other options. I readily accepted my best friend's twisted logic. Hey beautiful, are you even old enough to be here? I covered my mouth to hide a giggle. Do I look that young? You look like you could be underage. And you're really pretty. Really? Here, let's have a drink. I clinked my glass against his. Hearing the compliment, I felt a flutter of delight. I had to admit, the male models here were all pretty handsome. They even had 8-packs that looked very touchable. But after a while, they all started to look the same. Soon I couldn't tell who was who. I didn't know if I was getting drunk or if my eyes were playing tricks on me. I couldn't believe it, it was Xiaozhua. He walked up to me, his face dark, and called my name coldly. Wen Qing. My gut reaction was to run. That Songji is so unreliable. Didn't she say we wouldn't run into anyone we knew? So who is this? Xiaozhua blocked my escape, grabbing my wrist. I sobered up in an instant. A flash of anger rose in me. What are you doing? Xiaozhua, let go of me. Songji, worried about me, quickly explained, Mr. Xia, I was the one who asked Qing to come. Please, don't hurt her. I was in a bad mood today, so I asked Qing to come chat with me. I ordered all of this, it has nothing to do with her. I shot my best friend a grateful look. I tried to pull my wrist free, but he only gripped it tighter. I gave up struggling and looked at him angrily. What exactly do you want? Xiaozhua ignored me and just dragged me out of the bar. I hugged a pillar by the entrance and refused to let go. He scratched his head in frustration. I'm asking you one last time, are you coming or not? I'm not. Without another word, he scooped me up by the waist and tossed me into his car. I immediately fumbled for the door handle, giving up after a few useless tugs. He'd hit the locks the second he got in. I realized my strength was nothing compared to his. I punched him in a fit of rage. The AC wasn't on, but the air in the car grew colder and colder. He was absolutely furious. If I ever find out who pissed him off, I'll make them regret it. But I didn't do anything to him, so why is he taking it out on me? Ugh, I'm the one who should be angry here. He's the one who dragged me out for no reason. What right does he have to be pissed? The car stopped at Chongqing residence. He got out and pulled me out after him, pushing me down onto the sofa. I hugged a teddy bear and ignored him. What do you want for dinner? I ignored him. Sweet and sour ribs or Coke braised chicken wings? How does he know all my favorites? Whatever, I was still ignoring him. Not talking to me? Fine. The next second, the world spun. He'd thrown me over his shoulder and was heading for the bedroom. I panicked and beat on his back. Xiaozhua, let go of me, are you insane? Xiaozhua, put me down or I'll tell Uncle Xia. I hate you, you creep. You're just as annoying as Xia Yao. Xiaozhua gave my backside a heavy swat. The humiliation. He spoke coldly. What's the use in hating her now? Your ex-boyfriend isn't coming back either. Ugh. How can he be so cruel? He really knows how to twist the knife. If I ever get the upper hand, I'll make you pay. Xiaozhua tossed me onto the bed and immediately pinned me beneath him, as if he was afraid I'd escape. Then he started nipping at my neck. My teeth ground together in fury. Xiaozhua, are you a dog or something? I snapped. I raised my hand in anger, but he caught my wrist and pinned it above my head. I lunged to bite him, but he pulled away. Behave, he warned, or I can't guarantee what I'll do. Weighing my options, I stopped struggling. Seeing that I had settled down, he got up, straightened his shirt, and said, "You'll be staying here for the next few days." He was gone before I could ask anything, leaving me alone with my scrambled thoughts. It wasn't long before I realized the truth. I was his captive. First, I couldn't find my phone. Then I realized my laptop was also gone. Was he trying to isolate me from the entire world? Ugh, I never thought in all my life I'd get a taste of what it feels like to be a recluse living deep in the woods. For the next few days, Xiaozhua and I shared every meal and lived under the same roof. I'd resisted at first, but soon realized it was pointless. So I just got used to his presence. It started to give me the strange illusion that maybe, living like this forever wouldn't be so bad. There was a knock on the door. I glanced up. "Young madam, your fruit is ready." I was on my phone watching a show and answered casually, "Just leave it there." Yes, you heard that right. She called me young madam. That was Xiaozhua's rule. He said he wanted me to get used to the life of a young madam ahead of time. To get used to the feeling of being with him. He's truly devious. I'd been completely outmaneuvered by him. He was making me lose my way in this gilded cage he'd created. Aside from being cut off from the outside world, my days were actually quite pleasant. I picked up the fruit plate and left the bedroom. Xiaozhua's house had a huge swimming pool, I've loved being in a pool ever since I was a kid, especially in the summer. I glanced down at my clothes, decided they were fine for swimming, and jumped in. After about 10 minutes, I climbed out of the water and stretched out on a nearby lounge chair. I popped a slice of watermelon into my mouth. It was cool, refreshing, and incredibly sweet. I lay back, soaking in the sun's warmth. On my way back to the bedroom, I caught a glimpse of a room with pink curtains. Besides the housekeeper, I was the only woman in the house. Why would there be pink curtains? My curiosity piqued. I found myself walking toward it. The door was locked. I remembered he had a lot of keys in his study. I grabbed the key ring and, after a few tries, the lock clicked open. I pushed the door open, and what I saw inside left me so shocked I couldn't speak. There was a huge poster hanging there. And the person in the picture was me. I remembered it was from my coming-of-age ceremony when I turned 18. How could he have this? There was also a photo album on the desk. I flipped through a few pages. They were all pictures of me, from when I was a little girl up to now. How did you get in here? Siejua came up from behind me. I turned to look at him. This? What? Scared? I approached him with a serious expression. I took his hand, only to find his palm was slick with sweat. What was he so nervous about? I wrapped my arms around his waist and rested my face against his chest. Siejua. I could feel his heart starting to race. You like me, don't you? So I really am that good-looking. No wonder even you fell for me. He went completely still. He stood there stunned for a moment before asking, "You're not angry?" I was a little confused. Angry about what? The fact that you have a poster of me just proves I'm good-looking. Don't you think this picture is just as beautiful as I am in person? You have great taste. He looked at me, his apprehension clear. So then, do you like me? His question stunned me into silence. I didn't know how to answer. Do I like him? I stammered, well. I've never been in a relationship, so I don't know. Without warning, he leaned in and kissed me. Then he asked, "Did you feel anything?" My heart was pounding like a drum. Yes. Then you like me. I was still confused. Is that it? Yes, he replied, his gaze serious. So, be my girlfriend? I wanted to say no, but when I met that intense, predatory look in his eyes, I was afraid if I said no, I'd vanish from the face of the earth. Well, can you let me go outside? He let out a soft laugh. Then. I guess we can try. He grinned like a fool. He pulled me back to the bedroom, had me change clothes, and then held me as we sat at the foot of the bed for a selfie. What are you doing? Making it official. You already said yes, so no takebacks. That's right. I was going to make it official too. That'll really piss off that scumbag and that bitch. Let's see her try to flaunt anything in my face now. In her dreams. I had to post it on social media, too. And I'd be sure to tag Xiao. Right after I posted, I saw a comment from Songji. First. Hey OP, did you get played? I immediately replied, and a no. It's mutual. Ha ha ha, you're just being stubborn. Siejua tried to sneak a peek at my phone, but I covered it. What are you doing? He snatched the phone right out of my hand. We're going out for dinner tonight. I'm not going. With Xiao. That got my attention. I'll go. When I got my phone back, I saw his latest reply on the screen. At least it's better than you trying to be hard and failing. Just then, I got a message from my bestie, our friendship is over. I facebombed. Oh my god, someone save me. Siejua, you're such a dog. Inside the private room, it was dead silent. I don't think even Qing expected to see me. The surprised look on his face was honestly a little pathetic. I just sat there, letting Siejua put food on my plate. Whatever I wanted, he'd get for me. I glanced over at Xiao, who was sitting there pouting. Qing was staring at me with a complicated expression. With a loud smack, Xiao finally broke. Wen Qing, don't you have your own hands? Why are you making my uncle serve you? I took a bite of the sticky rice cake in my bowl and glanced at her. What's the matter? Jealous? She looked at Xiaoxue with a wronged expression. I'm not jealous of you. You're the one who's putting on an act. Uncle, you can't indulge her like this. It's all fake. I slapped my chopsticks on the table. Who asked you? Xiaoxue picked up my hand and blew on it tenderly. Don't hurt yourself. Then, he admonished Xiaoyao with a warning tone, just eat your food, and show some respect. She's your aunt now. Your elder. The moment the words were out, I saw her face turn livid. I shot her a smug eyebrow raise. I was enjoying this meal immensely. Xiaoyao tugged on Qingyu's sleeve. Qingyu, say something. Qingyu shook her off and kept his head down, focusing on his food. He didn't dare utter a single word. Xiaoyao, completely flustered, burst out, Uncle, you can't be with her. We're from the same generation. What you're doing it's just wrong. Xiaoxue merely glanced at her, and she was scared into shutting her mouth. Damn, Xiaoxue was impressive. That sheer force of will. Xiaoyao, do you know where your surname comes from? It's not good to talk too much. I don't like it. And my wife doesn't like it either. Not daring to argue with him, Xiaoyao redirected her attack to me. Wen Qing, aren't you always going on about how women should be independent? What happened to that? Relying on a man now? That's where you're wrong. Xiaoxue is my boyfriend now, and one day he'll be my husband. We're family. Relying on him is the same as relying on myself. You just sound like a sore loser. Hearing that word, husband, made Xiaoxue absolutely beam. From now on, she is your aunt. If I ever see you show her any disrespect again, I won't hesitate to have you change your last name. Wow, that was so cool. Oh my god, I love him so much. How can someone be so shameless about defending their own? I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. My appetite suddenly returned, and I polished off every last bite of the food Xiaoxue had given me. This round? I won. I looked at the road signs outside the car in surprise. This wasn't the way back to Chongqing residence. Where are you taking me? Our home. What do you mean? Exactly what it sounds like. So weird. I turned my head away from him. He was being so mysterious. It was too late to refuse anyway. It's not like he was going to sell me off or anything. The car stopped in front of a villa. It was decorated with lights and lanterns inside. Someone was clearly there. Are you here to see a friend? Or a client? Neither. Just get out first. I resisted. I wasn't ready to go public with our relationship yet. Xiaoxue looked at me anxiously. Seeing how much I was resisting, he simply swept me up into his arms. When he pushed the door open, I was stunned. There was no one in sight, only a courtyard full of roses and warm-colored string lights. A large object covered with a cloth was placed by the entrance. I walked over, curious. I pulled off the cloth, and a huge bouquet of blue enchantress roses appeared before my eyes. Xiaoxue, did you prepare all this? I asked. You remembered I like them? He smiled without a word and took out a brocade box from the middle of the roses. Suddenly, Xiaoxue dropped to one knee, and I jumped in surprise. Xiaoqing, I've loved you for 8 years. During those 8 years I was abroad, I never stopped thinking about you for a single moment. I even dreamed of you. It's not that I didn't want to tell you sooner. Actually. He paused, as if thinking. Your father knew about my feelings for you a long time ago. He warned me that if I made a move on you before you graduated, he'd marry you off to someone else. Finally, you graduated. And just when I was trying to figure out how to win you over, you delivered yourself right to my doorstep. Wouldn't you call that fate? Xiaoxue opened the brocade box. Inside, there was a diamond ring. Xiaoqing, will you marry me? I was so happy I froze on the spot. Looking into Xiaoxue's sincere eyes, my heart pounded in my chest. I feigned annoyance. I just agreed to be your girlfriend, and now you want to get married? Don't push your luck. He grinned. I'm just proposing. We can't get married until you say yes, and we still have to get past your dad. So, will you say yes or not? And what if I don't? He said playfully, then I'll just keep kneeling here forever. Then you can just keep kneeling, I said, hiding a smile as I turned and pretended to walk away. He grabbed my hand. Don't tease me, okay? As he spoke, Siejua slipped the diamond ring onto my ring finger. I looked at the sparkling diamond on my finger. I nodded reluctantly. I'm willing, for now. Siejua stood up and pulled me into his arms. I buried my head in his chest and asked him, why did you prepare all of this? Because I was afraid you'd fall for someone else. How could I? I only love you. The corners of his mouth turned up. And who might you be? I hit his chest lightly. You're doing that on purpose, aren't you? Ha ha ha. We sat on the steps in front of the villa, watching the stars fill the sky. I sighed. My attempt to play hard to get had backfired spectacularly. I turned my head and glanced at the lush, vibrant flowers. I turned back and cupped his face in my hands. Before he could react, I kissed him. Compared to my clumsiness, he was much more skilled. He wrapped his arm around my waist, nibbling gently at my lips. He carried me through the entryway and into the bedroom. Siejua whispered close to my ear, I love you. Then he kissed my lips again. All night, I was like a boat adrift on the sea, and he was the current that pulled me into the depths, time and time again.